Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi. We're going to spend a few minutes today visiting with our brand new football coach here for the Golden Eagles, Coach Todd Monken. And Todd, you've been here now, I guess, nearly a couple of weeks, and I know it's been a whirlwind since you've been here. What's the first couple of weeks been like? What's the reception been like for the guy who's taken over the football program?
Well, the reception's been unbelievable, and it's been crazy, but it's been great. And everywhere you go, fans are excited about Southern Miss football and what the future holds. And everybody has questions of recruiting, staff, the current players, what we're going to do to get the program back on track. So it's been a great couple of weeks so far.
Now, you've always coached several years around this area, Louisiana Tech, LSU. You've been familiar with Southern Miss, looking from the outside. But when you look at the Southern Miss football program, as you've been other places, what stood out? What's impressed you about Southern Miss?
Well, one thing about Southern Miss is, from a coaching standpoint, it always seemed like Southern Miss was winning and beating people that supposedly they weren't supposed to be able to compete with. Then from a recruiting front, you would see players that always seemed to be interested in Southern Miss, whether they had an SEC school or whether they were being recruited by other Conference USA schools. You would see an interest in Southern Miss.
Is it fair to say on defense you want to put pressure on the offense, much like offensively you want to put pressure on the defense?
Without question. You have to affect the quarterback. The whole game's about affecting the quarterback. You have to affect the guy that controls the game. We do everything in our power for the defense not to affect our quarterback. So the reverse is, how do we affect their quarterback into making poor decisions, into making poor reads, but not at the expense of us giving up big plays and us being out of position?
You, as I said, have been here a couple of weeks. You had a chance to meet with the team when you first got here. Without sharing any secrets, behind-the-scenes secrets, what was that meeting like, and what was kind of your response to them and their response to you?
Well, it was unbelievable. I mean, I'll always remember it. It's the first time as a head coach you meet a team and they're looking at you as the head coach. I mean, it's very humbling to be able to be up there in front of a group of men, and I was excited. I mean, I don't know if I listened very much. I talked probably most of the time, but I was excited. I was ready to get started right then and there. I talked to them about their role in what happened last year, that I think it's easy to just, hey, wow, everything's now changed. And no, everybody had a hand in what happened last year. And that's the first step, is acknowledging that and now moving forward with our staff that we put together. And I asked them some questions about what they thought about last year. What I could do as the head coach to make this program better. What could I do for them? And remembering that I have a job here because of our players. And that's why we're here as coaches, for them. And so I asked them some things, and they spoke about what they thought. Again, information is always good. What you do with it's up to you, but I like gathering information and then trying to decipher between the lines. But, like I said, if they didn't feel my passion and my excitement to be able to coach them and to try and motivate them, then I don't know what else to say.
We were talking offensive football a minute ago. I guess when you hear spread offense, you think 50, 60 passes the ball game, but that's not necessarily the case. It's putting yourself in a position to take advantage of what the defense is trying to do.
Without question. I mean, we really won't decide whether we run it or throw it. They will. Now, there are times when you need to be able to run it. And I think when you're balanced, I think it gives you a chance to be more successful. But sometimes you're playing teams that'll dictate to you that you're going to have to put it on the perimeter. That's why it's so important that you feel good with the players you got on the perimeter. You feel good about the guys up front. And you feel good about your running backs and the system you run. And I think you have to make sure that you recruit to that to allow yourself to dictate to the defense what you want to do.
I haven't talked about special teams, but I know everywhere that you've been, they have been good special teams, football teams. That's as big a part of the game nowadays than offense and defense is.
Well, your best players have to play. I mean, they have to understand their role on your team. And you can't expect, if your best players don't play special teams, to be good on. I don't know how you're going to be good on special teams if your best players don't play special teams. And I think it says something to your team. I think when somebody plays special teams, it says I'm all in. That's what it says. It says I'm all in. When the position coaches coach it like it's their own, then they're all in. That says to your team, this is important. If you don't, if the position coaches don't take it that way and the players don't take it that way, then it'll never be special. It'll just be teams.
Talk about, we've talked to your philosophy a little bit, but where is your influences come in football? Who have been some guys that have influenced the way you coach the game of football?
Wow, I don't even know where to start. We'd have to have another segment here. I've been so lucky to grow up in a coaching family, being around it my whole life, and then fortunate enough when I was a young coach, at all the different stops you learn, and there's teaching moments, and not only from head coaches that you've worked for that have been great to me, but then assistants that you learn from. And you learn from everybody. I mean, it's not just head coaches. It's not just the coordinators you work for. It's guys that you sit next to in a chair. Or you listen in recruiting meetings. It's everything. It's all encompassing that develops what you believe in as a coach, and that's ever changing. That's ever evolving as to what you really believe in. And so, like I said, I've been so fortunate to be around some really, really good coaches at all levels.
You spent a stint of about 4 years in the NFL with Jacksonville. How did that sort of shape or help you become a better coach?
Well, first of all, Coach Del Rio was great to me and my family. He took a shot at me being a college coach, had never been in the NFL, and I'll always be grateful for that. I learned that at that level, and you learn to become a better teacher. At that level, you can't just say because I said so as a coach. You can't just say because I'm the coach. They won't respond to that. It's how can you show them that by what you're teaching them, their career will be longer and they'll make more money. I mean, basically, that's what you're doing. And I think you learn how to manipulate a little bit and show them that. And so what you're really trying to do at that level, and we've tried to carry that over Oklahoma State, our job is to try and maximize a player's measurable skill set. That's what we're paid to do. And that's all we were paid to do there, was try and maximize a player's measurable skill set. So how do you do that? Well, there's a number of ways you do it, and you kind of refine that when you're at that level.
As we talk today, you're in the process of getting your staff put together. You're in the process of recruiting. What type of player are you looking for to bring into the program at Southern Miss?
First and foremost, the things we talk about, we'll never talk about stats, is toughness, effort, discipline, no excuses, finish. We're looking for guys that fit in that category, mentally and physically tough, giving great effort, they're disciplined. They talk about finishing, you talk about those things that are important. They don't make excuses. So you're looking for guys that fit in those categories because that's how you're successful in life. People that aren't successful in life don't fit in those categories. So you're looking for guys that love football, because guys that love football and love coming to the building and love to be coached will develop as players. Guys that don't, you're pulling them. When I was a GA many years ago for Coach Holtz, he would say, if you want a motivated team, recruit motivated players. And that's what you're looking for. Now, is that always the case? No. But that's what you're looking for, because those guys will develop their measurable skill set faster than guys that you're constantly having to pull and prod to get to do things.
Talk a little bit about, I heard you say this, and I thought this was interesting. You want to recruit guys, for the most part, that are within 4, 5, 6 hours of Hattiesburg. Mm-hmm. One, they're kind of homegrown guys, but two, people are going to come watch those guys. Mm-hmm. Talk about that a little bit, why that's important to you.
Well, I think as human beings, we play our best, we coach our best when our life is in order. When we're human beings, we're not robots. So when is our life not in order? Well, when we're not close to the ones that love us, when there's some disruption in our life that stops us from being focused. Anybody think about their job, how that occurs? When something's wrong at home or with their family or a loved one, how focused are they? Well, the further you go, the greater the chance of lack of focus and missing loved ones and allowing themselves to play at their best, coach at their best. And so what allows them to do that? Being close to home and others being able to enjoy that. And so I think that's where you start. Is that always an end-all? No. But sometimes you have a tendency to think that you know more about the players that are close to you, so you disregard that, almost like the girls at the other school are cuter than the ones at your own school. So you go further away, but you realize they have problems too. So there's no reason to go further away. Don't pass over really good players to go somewhere else. Really do your research close, and there's enough here. There's enough between 5 and 6 hours if you take the right ones.
I want to assume as you've started the recruiting process, the reception has been pretty good from the young men that you've talked to so far.
It has. The reception's been tremendous. And you're trying to rebuild that because there was probably a connection before, a thought of Southern Miss, but then there was a gap between the weeks that led up to my hiring. So you're trying to rebuild that, and you're trying to rebuild their confidence in University of Southern Miss. And the reception's been tremendous. And the guys that we get will want to be here and will develop and be really good players for us.
Well, like any football coach, I'm sure once you get the staff and recruit, you're anxious to get to spring practice and get away from all that other stuff and get on the field with spring football practice.
There's no doubt, because we're going to win or lose based on our guys here now, or the guys that will be here and coming at mid-semester. It's going to be very difficult to count on. They will be a part of our team, but they won't be the reason we win. The reason we win are the guys that are going to be back here starting January 14th. So that's the excitement, as you mentioned. This is the staff, important, recruiting, critically important, but our current team, when they get back, can't wait to get started, because we're starting to shape and mold what we're going to be come August.
Southern Miss has got great fans. They have turned out the last few years in great numbers to watch the Golden Eagles do a lot of different things. How important is it to get the community, to get the fans involved in what you're trying to do at Southern Miss?
Well, it's critical. I mean, your team feels it. The other team feels it. To have a place that's very, very difficult to play. And I think with so many other things going on today and so many other opportunities for your fans to do other things, I think it's tremendous that they would spend their Saturdays and their Saturday nights here cheering on our players. And it's unbelievably important for our success. If Southern Miss football is important, then they'll be here on Saturday.
Has it been hard to fit all you wanted to do in a 24-hour period since you got here? I'm sure you've been going nonstop.
It's crazy. You get started one way, and then you forgot, oh, I had this to do, and then you've got this to do, and you can't return all the phone calls, and you feel like a schmuck for not being able to call your buddies back and other people, and they're recommending, and you're recruiting, and it's just it's nonstop. None of it's hard. It's just time consuming, and you want to do right by everybody. And by the time I get to sleep, if I wake up, I can't get back to sleep because something's in my mind that I've got to do, that I have to do, and that I have to do for this program. So, like I said, none of it's hard. It's just time consuming, but that's the fun of it.
Before I let you go, if somebody is watching that maybe has not been a part of Southern Miss in the past, what would you tell them? Now's the time to get involved, to hop on board, and get involved in what's going on at Southern Miss.
Sure, it is. I think at times we have a way of taking things for granted. I mean, when you talk about 18 straight winning seasons, you just kind of, oh, that always happens, or the conference championship always happens, and that's not true. You've got other staffs that are fighting to get better, and other players at other schools fighting to get better. And once that occurs, you start to realize, okay, it just doesn't just happen. It takes everybody. It takes the community, it takes your players to buy, it takes coaches, it takes everybody to make this a difficult place to play. And I promise you we'll put a good product on the field.
Todd, it's been great to have you here these first couple of weeks at Southern Miss. Thanks for giving us some time today and talking about your philosophy and about Southern Miss football. Looking forward to it. It's only, about 8 months away or 9 months away till it all starts for the Golden Eagles. So we're looking forward to it. Know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
Todd Monken, he's the brand new head football coach here at Southern Miss, and we need you to be involved. Need you to be a part of all that's going on at Southern Miss. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be there and be a part of it all. Thanks for being with us today, everybody, and we'll see you next time.